When waves break, whether at an ocean beach like this or in a man-made wave pool, currents are going to form, and invariably in a wave pool, being a closed system, those currents are to no advantage at all, and in fact they cause enough turbulence that there needs to be quite a bit of settling time before the next wave can be created. So even before I patented this system that we use, I recognised the fact that we'd need to have a current operating in the opposite direction to the actual wave direction. Not only to limit or mitigate that current, but to in fact reverse that current so that you can use it as a tool to vary the shape of the wave even beyond the system that we have in place with the hulls. As time went on, I realised this opens the door to an almost infinite degree of control over wave shape. Because if you can know what the current is doing with a monitoring system of some sort, and then you can alter and modify and change the direction of the currents with a water jet system, then in fact you can not only mitigate and negate a current, not only can you then create controlled currents in whatever direction you want, which is a form of customizing, but you can also then set that system to a random mode within certain parameters, of course, so you don't want it to go crazy, that's the whole idea, but you can set it to random mode and actually be able to say that no two waves are ever the same. So to explain the system, initially the wave pool basin would be fitted out with a large number of these acoustic Doppler flow meters. New term for me, I'm not pretending that I'm an expert in the field, but I'm dealing with two companies that are experts in their field of monitoring water movement and on another field of moving water around. So one's an expert in water jet technology and systems that allow the water jets to be rotated throughout 360 degrees, and the other system with a company called Teledyne, probably the biggest in America, if not the world, for these flow meters. We're going to partner those two systems. I'm not saying the companies, we're not needing to form a partnership. We're going to join the two technologies with a software that allows you to monitor on one hand and then alter the flow to suit on the other hand. So effectively, if we have the monitoring system picking up on unwanted turbulence, the water jets will automatically reverse their position to point into that unwanted current. Now this can be a spiral, it doesn't need to be a linear current in the simplest of forms. Doesn't matter how complex it is, the monitoring system will pick up what the movements are. It's already been designated in the software that this is not to our advantage, and it will counter that with just the right amount of flow in the opposite direction to bring it back to a settled state. Now that means that as a wave goes down the gradient along the linear parts of the wave pool, obviously the current is not equal in velocity from the beach edge to the wall. It's going to have a profile, and a key part of our patent, and I can mention this because the patent's already been submitted, is that you don't want to just create a generic reverse current of a certain velocity across the whole pool, because it'll be like a wall of water moving, towards the wave. Then the wave will make a dent in that, and the higher velocity water will wrap around that and create its own turbulence. So it's not hugely advantageous to have an uncontrolled reverse current as waves start running into it. You have to match exactly in the opposite direction the current profile that those waves make. Then you can actually, within maybe 5 or 6 seconds, it looks like, you can bring it back to zero. So that's a fundamental part of the controlling mechanism. Now to go to the customizing, if you've got waves running down and you are controlling that current to some degree with a constant current that's countering the wave-made current, the wave-created current, so you've got it in some level of control, then you can actually add patches of reverse current at whatever angle. It can be straight into the wave or at an angle diagonal to the wave, or even right into the tube, which certainly hollows the tube and makes it a deeper barrel. Now that means that patch can be something that's running at its set velocity might only be a 10 or 15 or 20 metre patch. That then stands the wave up as though it's a rip, as though a wave is at a beach just like that, and there's a current coming back out to sea, and the wave stands up and gets a steeper and more rippable face. Or if it's a tube, the tube gets hollower. So when a wave is traveling towards this patch of water that's moving, it will stand up and throw only in that spot. Again, because of the software, we can either leave that patch of moving water in a stationary position, or we can have it move with the wave, which effectively makes the wave feel like it's a constant current. This means it's almost unlimited what you can actually do. The angles can vary, the shape of these currents can vary, and the velocity can vary and the duration can vary. So there's a good range of customizing available when you can control the current and then alter it. But the third, probably the most exciting one, offsets for this criticism that many people have had about wave pools. Quite unfair criticism, I think, in a way, is that, oh, it's going to get boring. Really? Okay, look at the rubbish that we surf most of the time, and when it's good, it's packed. And you would say no to faultlessly perfect waves that are peeling, for 20 seconds or more, that big with a piping barrel. No one's going to say no to that. So it's not a very fair comparison to say that it's going to get boring, because nature's variable. It's variable and rubbish most of the time. Okay, so that's the truth of the matter. Nevertheless, there is a little smidgen of validity to that criticism, because if you are going to be in a man-made environment and it is the same all the time, then to some degree, yes, you'll go, all right, I might not come back as often because I know exactly what I'm going to get. If you can go to a wave pool where it can be said, and it's true, that no two waves are ever the same, because you're moving water around in ways which effectively mimics gradient differences, then you've got you've got to anticipate what's going to happen, and that's what's beautiful about out there. Riding a wave, going along, looking at water movements and going, wow, this thing's going to bowl, and it stands up. Or it's running with you, and the wave goes fatter, and it becomes gentler, and the face is less steep, and you can pump out and do a roundhouse. And as a surfer and a surfboard designer, and now a wave designer, I think that's about the limit. I can't see anything else going past what this system represents and what this system offers.